Welcome. I'm William Wagener, host and producer of Without Rights. Today, live in the studio, fresh from the Santa County Main Jail, is a man who spent
over 6 years.
6.3 years. Welcome, William Joseph Christopher. Been out of jail now for what, 24 hours?
Almost 24 hours.
You are not convicted of anything yet, are you?
That's correct.
Spent 6.3 years incarcerated, had 2 preliminary hearings, right?
That's correct.
Basically on a domestic violence slapping or something like that incident. Oh, and driving without a California driver's license.
Well, there were 4 charges of domestic and 1 charge of dissuading a witness. And I've been incarcerated for 6.3 years. And it's a second prosecution for the same case. The same case was dropped.
Dismissed.
In 99.
Right. That's what's interesting. Your ex-wife lied so badly in the transcript, it's obvious she didn't tell the truth. The DA, which was Nishigaya,
Daniel Nishigaya.
who's now been promoted to a supervisor assistant DA.
Of course.
He had to dismiss those charges, but he kept you in jail for how many days in 99? You were arrested in June of 99.
That's correct. Yeah, 47 days before I bailed out in 99. So
he's been 45 days in the jail the first time in 99.
47 days. So
47. You bailed out.
Right.
Wow. Can you imagine this, folks? The man had the case dismissed because his ex-wife got caught lying so badly in a courtroom just like this courtroom of Judge Ambrose behind me in Santa Clara County. She lied so badly, the DA himself went to you and said, cop a plea, right? Just plead guilty, right?
Well, actually in 99, I don't
in
know
99 he
I
did.
don't know if you know this, but he offered to resolve the entire 5 felony count down to 1 misdemeanor.
To 1 misdemeanor.
And I wouldn't do it because it would have prevented me from I knew I needed to in order to save my parental rights, I couldn't plead guilty even to save myself from a very corrupt system. Because I would have never gotten custody or and visitation rights with this violent, even a misdemeanor.
Well, you believe that, but that may not be true.
Well, this is the legal advice that I received.
From William Trainey.
Actually...
Rainey, I'm sorry. William Rainey.
William Rainey at that point
was out of it.
Was gone. It was Glenn Sugihara.
Ah, is he the guy you paid the big bucks to?
Well, no, it was a very fair price, actually.
Well, how much was that?
It was $3,000.
And how much did you spend on the other attorney?
$14,000, Ingo Brower.
Ingo Brower, yes, good old Ingo Brower. Took you for 14 grand. Did you get 14 grand worth of defense from Ingo Brower?
Ingo Brower is deeply involved in this corruption to cover up the falsification of the transcript. And the falsification of the transcript resulted in aiding and abetting a confessed child abuser. So, and I don't know how to, as a father of this child, I don't know how to put in words my outrage that the government has done this to him. Your tax dollars at work aiding and abetting a child abuser who comes into court and admits the child abuse, not in a sense of being contrite, but wanting me to be charged with verbal abuse for telling her to stop abusing the child, specifically telling her to stop assaulting and starving the infant.
Let me play devil's advocate. I mean, I believe you, but what specifically
Wouldn't it be great if you didn't have to say, I believe you, you could just look at a transcript and see that
well, if we had an honest transcript, yeah,
yes.
But that's the problem.
I'm just saying, my point is, wouldn't it be great if there wasn't...
It would be great if we had a videotape of her first preliminary testimony. I would have loved to have seen what she looked like when she kept exaggerating. And the DA had to sort of shout her down and stop her from sticking her foot in her mouth. But what specifically did she do to abuse your son, whose name is? Joshua. I have a son named Joshua as well. What specifically did he do? She do to your son?
I never saw an infant assaulted before. And the first time I saw her do it, I was shocked, and I didn't know.
But what specifically, Chris,
Okay,
did
I'm
she
getting
do?
to that. It's difficult for me to talk about this. I hope you can appreciate that. When he was 4.5 months old, he was being breastfed, and she was saying that she didn't want to breastfeed him, and she's being reluctant to do that, and it was about time to get him on rice cereal, very diluted rice cereal. And I said to her, okay, if you're not going to breastfeed him, I'm going to make up some rice cereal for him. I had him here, you know, supporting him. His face was facing to the back.
Okay, so you're doing it right.
Yeah.
You're doing it right. Go ahead.
Well, she came up and she grabbed onto his leg,
His little leg.
his lower leg, and she leaned back and twisted. Now, what she was trying to do was she's saying to me, you know, you're going to let this child go, and I'm not going to feed him, and I'm going to, it's an assault, I'm going to hurt him and pull and twist his leg, and you're going to have to let him go. You don't have any choice, do you? Because you love him.
Right.
So I was shocked. I let him go. Because as long as I continue to hold him,
she was causing
it's a tug of war.
Right.
And so
So you let her take the child. What did she then do with your son Joshua?
Well, she didn't feed him. It's a tug of war. She didn't feed him. It's a tug of war. She didn't feed him. It's a tug of war. She didn't feed him. It's a tug of war. It's a tug of war. War.